Hi again. I thought I'd just drop in and record another quick video. This time I thought I'd go on about Far Cry 3, which I've been playing on and off on the Xbox 360. When I first started playing it, I was really drawn in, and I was really enjoying the large environments and the big expansive areas, and the prospect of there being such a large place to explore and things to find. However, quite soon after that, I became quite quickly bored. I felt that a lot of effort had gone into creating this large, complex island with outcroppings, and underwater caves, and hills and animals, and they'd spent so much time populating it with interesting locations and encounters with random encounters with enemies and animals. I feel that they maybe forgot, but they didn't populate the island with as much enough interesting campaigns and missions and such. I mean, they've gone to all this effort to create an island which is huge. I don't even know how long it would take you to travel across from one side to another by like a car or a boat. It would take you some time. And I started a mission, and I'm tailing a guy through a village, but you can't be seen. So it's that usual walk really slowly behind them, not even having to stay in cover. You can just hang far enough back that he's not triggered, his programming's not triggered. So I felt that was kind of lazy. There was also a plot point where I had to harm the cartel on the island. The easiest way to do this was by attacking their income and the thing they valued most. And this was, of course, drugs, marijuana, I believe. So I need to go out and burn these fields, these crops. So you travel there. I travelled by hang glider. I swooped in, I dropped off, and lo and behold, right by the field worth potentially hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, I don't know, is a flamethrower with ample fuel, and it just felt very lazy, and it got me to thinking that in a game now it's not enough for me, maybe it is for others, but it's not enough just to brag and boast and proclaim we have an island that is 100 square miles or whatever it may be. It will take you 30 minutes to travel from one side of the island to the other. It doesn't matter if you're not populating it with a plot that is kind of like strong enough for a movie to be built on. That's the kind of thing I'm thinking here. Think Batman Arkham Asylum, think Batman Arkham City, Bioshock. These are games that have gorgeous worlds which would ultimately be just hollow yet attractive paintings without anything interesting happening with them. And this is what Far Cry 3 is. It's a very attractive but hollow painting of an island, and it's not enough to be walking along saying, hey, this is a really nice vista of a cliff face with a waterfall. What can I do? ultimately I'm not getting any tactile feedback. I'm not feeling the wind across my hair. I need things to do, and I feel Far Cry 3 really, really fell down. It quickly just dissolves into go here, kill them, go there, kill them. And there's so many missions as well where you travel to a place to speak to a guy, to travel to a place, to speak to somebody else, and then it comes up mission complete, and you're thinking, you could have just condensed this down into a cutscene perhaps, because my playing of this game in the last 15 minutes has revolved around me walking up to this marker, being sucked into a non-skippable cutscene, and I've got no control and I can't influence anything. And then it ends and you allow me to walk to a checkpoint, fast travel, and then walk to the next action marker where a cutscene is triggered. And occasionally, if you're lucky, even though I hate them, you might be treated to a quick time event where you get to mash some buttons and try and time trigger presses, and it all feels a little bit cliched, generic, and I really don't feel there's anything of substance in there. So in short, is it a game I've enjoyed? No, it isn't a game I've enjoyed. Are there any redeeming qualities? Once again, the island looks great. It's lacking in weather effects. So it could be a very cool atmospheric place if it rained, thundered out over the ocean once in a while. That would be really cool. What are the redeeming qualities? I mean, I'm struggling. I'm not saying it's a terrible game. It isn't. It's perfectly playable and moderately enjoyable. More so for others, perhaps. But it just feels very middle of the road. There's no climactic highs, no despairing lows. Feels like there's no plot. Feels like everything's kind of entirely predictable. It doesn't, not that every game has to, but it doesn't push any boundaries, it doesn't bring anything new to any genres, it doesn't allow you to come away and speak of these impressions that the game has made upon you. I mean, like Bioshock was a fantastic game. You came away from that with a real sense of, it was hard to explain, it was so deep, so much history, such carefully crafted characters. Rapture was just this wonderful, horrible place. It was beautifully terrifying yet homely at the same time. It was a game that really pulled you in, and it made you feel for the characters. It made you feel like you were a part of Rapture, and as the plot progressed, you were really invested in it, and you felt you felt like, it's hard to explain, and I think maybe that's it. If a game can leave a mark on you and you enjoyed it so much and you can't quite put your finger on why, that could be indicative that it's not one thing, it's a collection of things, it's the sum of the parts that has made such a fantastic game. Far Cry 3, we've not got any of these things. Perhaps it's not helped by the fact that this is based out on an island with relatively few landscapes, what's the word I'm after? Not monuments, landmarks, that's what I'm after. Landmarks, you're wandering around an island and it's massive, it's great, but you don't know necessarily that it is that big. You're walking up a hill past a tree, and you don't know. It could have been the 8th time in this 2 hours you've been playing that you've come around this area, or it could be entirely new. Whereas in Rapture, Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, you went past somewhere, you had your bearings, you got a feel for the place. It helped create this really cool environment. And I know you're not going to get that from an island. I understand that that's what the game is always going to be, but I just feel then if you've got, on the one hand, you've got that place which makes you feel very alone, very, it's very uninhabited, it's very natural. You've then got to really nail down a plot with some fantastic standout missions that are going to make you look back and think, yeah, oh, I remember the part where I did, not where I went. I mean, we all, for example, remember the part in Arkham Asylum, the first encounter with Scarecrow. We all remember where that took place and the preceding things. So in Far Cry 3, maybe they needed to say, well, let's not go for that, let's go for the big events and those big plot moments, but there is none. There is none. There's a couple of attempts where your character dabbles in narcotic substances for reasons pertaining to the plot, but it just feels like an easy way to shoehorn in some rather cartoon-like encounters. So all in all, a game that, if you're interested, by all means play it, but don't go in with high expectations. I didn't, and I still feel let down, slightly disappointed. In fact, the only reason I picked it up was because some of my first choice games were unavailable from the rental site that I use. So I thought that would be a good stopgap, a safe stopgap, but it didn't live up to expectations that were already quite lower than conceivably they should have been, perhaps, with the PR that was put behind the title. So that was another little rant, I suppose, more so than anything else. I'll try and stop hitting that table. I'll try and keep adding to this. I get a couple of opportunities a week, and I'll see what I can do, keep building on it. So I will be back shortly, no doubt, with something else to either complain or praise.